Today on the show, we're diving into the world of economic indicators. These are the numbers that tell us how the economy is doing, things like GDP, unemployment rates, and consumer confidence. But what do these indicators really mean? How are they calculated, and how should we interpret them? We'll break it all down for you, with the help of some experts. To make sense of the numbers that shape our world, they called Earth a Gardena silent world that had turned its swords into seeds. But gardens still have roots, and roots run deep. Into darkness. The children danced under Saturn's pale light. Hovercrafts zipped silently above the golden fields of Earth's upper orbit colonies, their engines no louder than a whisper. On the floating Arcadia ring, a space habitat orbiting Earth, 20 children played beneath domed glass, giggling, floating weightless among petals released by the Arboretum's AI caretaker. Laughter echoed softly. A cluster of Rylhor diplomats watched them from the observation deck, their glistening exoskeletons shimmering in the artificial sunlight. They spoke in reverent tones, admiring the innocence, the peace, the restraint of the human species. Such fragility. One clicked in its native tongue, yet they've conquered war without violence. The human ambassador, an old man named Ellis Cade, only smiled. "We didn't conquer war," he said. "We buried it." Deep for 2 centuries, Earth had done the unthinkable, disarmed itself. The peace accords of Seoul had ended the last interstellar war. Humanity had turned inward, refusing conquest, vowing neutrality. They became teachers, farmers, scientists. The galaxy, war-hungry and fractured, mocked them, until Earth's technologies healed 1,000 alien plagues and rebuilt crumbling moons with matter-folding machines. Humanity had earned reverence, fear, even, but no one feared Earth anymore. Not really. That night, as the Rylhor delegation returned to their stealthy, diplomatic cruiser, 3 of those floating children never came back. The alarm blared at 3:17 a.m. Orbital standard. Artificial dawn froze mid-cycle on the Arcadia ring as sirens shimmered blue across the habitat. Parents ran. Security drones swept every corridor. Names echoed over intercoms. Mila, Jonah SN. Gone. No breach, no forced entry, no malfunction, no ransom, just missing. At the Peace Council Hall, Ambassador Ellis Cade stared into the silent hologram feed, eyes bloodshot. "Activate Sentinel Protocol," he whispered. The council hesitated. "Ellis, that would violate. They took our children." Pause. The old man turned. "Do you think peace is our nature?" "No. It was a choice, a heavy one. But even we have lines that don't blur. Are you suggesting the Rylhar?" "I'm not suggesting. I'm telling you." He leaned forward. "They touched what they shouldn't have." Meanwhile, in deep orbit, the Rylhar cruiser broke from stealth and exited Earth's exosphere in absolute silence. A burst of quantum distortion trailed into undetectable 2 standard sensors. But not to Earth's black box satellites. Not to the old war gods sleeping beneath ice, beneath crust, beneath memory. A signal pinged from one such satellite. A name lit up, Project Harbinger. Back on Earth, in a quiet village nestled beneath bioluminescent forests, a woman named Naira knelt beside her daughter's empty bed. A single toy lay discarded, a plush wolf, its synthetic fur stained with a single fingerprint of soot. She screamed, "RLD." Humanity had unlearned rage, but grief never forgets. The news spread like fire across every continent, station, and orbital ring. 3 human children, gone, abducted. No ransom, no demands, no demands. At first, the Peace Council urged. Spokesdroids repeated soothing statements. A malfunction, perhaps, a navigation glitch. Children wander. But Earth's people didn't believe it. Not this time. Naira, mother of Milawan of the missing, stood before the council on the 3rd day. She said nothing at first, just held up a hologram of her daughter's laugh, looping endlessly above the assembly. Mila chasing butterflies in zero-G, pink boots bouncing off air, dimples wide with joy. "I gave up my right to vengeance," Naira said, "but not to truth, Commander." Ellis Cade hadn't worn a uniform in decades. But beneath his diplomatic robes, the outline of an old military command ship blinked against his chest. Ancient, almost mythic tech. He knew the Peace Council wouldn't act. Not until it was too late. So Cade went elsewhere, deep into Earth's shadow, the black core. It was buried beneath Icelandic ice. A dead place, officially sealed. Unofficially, still listening. Inside, he found what he hoped he wouldn't, a surveillance signature. Rylhar quantum distortion. Worse, it matched the exact time the children vanished. The Rylhar didn't respond to inquiries. For a species that worshipped trade and power, silence was unusual, suspicious, dangerous. So Cade did what no one on Earth had done in 200 years. He sent a warning, a tight beam transmission streaked toward the stars, encrypted with an ancient Earth war code, last used during the Jupiter uprising. "Retune them, or remember what we are." Meanwhile, far beyond Seoul, inside a black-walled chamber on a Rylhar moonforge, 3 tiny figures floated unconscious in containment fields. A scientist, its limbs, glistening with ceremonial paint, circled them slowly. The human brain is exquisite, it chittered to its peers. Noetic density 3 times that of Drelly Young. ideal for imprinting. Another hissed, concerned, the Earthlings if they suspect we sterilized the trail. Their peace council is spineless. The first tilted its head. They are peaceful, soft, predictable. A pause. Then the lights flickered. Back on Earth, protesters marched silently through the cities, holding up empty school uniforms and flickering candles. In Nairobi, a teacher turned off the peace broadcast and began training her class in basic signal encryption. In Tokyo, retired engineers restarted dormant orbital telescopes. In Sao Paulo, old veterans gathered. No one gave orders. No one spoke of war. But something vast began to stir beneath the silence. Inside Earth's Luna Archive, a sealed vault, storing the last war's records, a hidden subroutine activated, dusty servers blinked awake. They reached out to the deepest corners of the old human network, searching for one thing. Cade and Cade responded. In the final room of the black core, he placed his hand on a polished obsidian panel. The AI inside, cold, sleeping for 2 centuries, whispered, authorization. He didn't hesitate. Ellis Cade, Earthborn, last general of the 3rd Horizon Fleet. Protocol, Eden Break. The machine paused. Then, with a soft, almost reverent hum, it answered, Earth acknowledges the breach, preparing resurrection. Peace is not the absence of violence. It's the suppression of capability. And when that suppression cracks, something ancient returns. Ellis Cade stood before a sealed door beneath the Arctic crust. The ice moaned, wind howled across the barren plain above, but down here, only silence reigned out until now. The vault's biometric rings flared blue, scanned his DNA, and verified his heartbeat. Authorization complete. With a thunderous groan, the door split open, revealing a chamber the size of a cathedral. Inside, 30 black obelisks lined the floor, each one a dormant warform, curved like a blade, humming faintly with old power. Project Ecofire, humanity's last defense, buried after the peace accords. Forgotten by most, Paneva dismantled, because humans had learned true peace demands leverage, while Earth remained diplomatically silent. Coded messages spread across the solar system. Hidden enclaves, once thought extinct, answered. Mars mining colonies, blinked emergency relays. Former defense AI networks sealed for centuries flickered with static, then roared to life. In the Atlantic Trench, a Leviathan-shaped warship, Nox Eternum, emerged from artificial hibernation. Bioreactors stirred hoplating, reformed. It whispered to its maker, is it time? And Cade answered, yes. Meanwhile, in the Rilher system, the diplomats still believed Earth was broken. When pressed again by Peace Council drones, they finally responded with a broadcast. Cold, sharp, cruel, a single image appeared on every screen across human space. The 3 abducted children, unconscious in containment fields, drifting in synthetic stashes. Then came the voice. These offspring are now property. Earth's hesitation will ensure their safety. Retaliate, and they die. The Peace Council was horrified. Debates erupted. Protests flooded the channels. But Ellis Cade did not wait. Brought from the Black Core, he transmitted one command, Ecophiology, and across the solar system, the quiet stars answered. The first human warship in 2 centuries broke orbit with the roar of a thunder god. EHS Requital, 3 kilometers long, lined with kinetic lances, AI-docked gravity claws, and rail thunder cannons, rose like judgment from the seas. The people of Earth watched, stunned. It was no longer a secret. Earth was going to war. As the Requital passed Mars, it rendezvoused with Nox, Eternum, and 2 awakened frigates from the asteroid belt. Cade's fleet was 5 strong. Not much by galactic standards, but it wasn't about numbers, it was about a message, and Cade knew exactly where to send it. Far from any inhabited world, in the Varix expanse, lay a Rilher outpost, a miners' port masked as a mineral processing station. Hidden, illegal, forgotten. Cade didn't ask questions. He didn't wait for approval, he descended. The outpost defenses detected the humans too late. A gravity imploder shattered their outer shell before the alarms could even finish chiming. Human dropships tore through alloy and bone. Troopers clad in black kinetic mesh landed hard, armed not with lethal rounds, but something worse, weapons calibrated for pain, not death. The message was simple. We know what you did. Now, you will feel it. Inside the wreckage, Cade found more than stolen Earth children. There were hundreds of abductees, alien infants, preteens, even engineered hybrids. Crying, scared, scarred. He knelt beside one child with glowing eyes and translucent skin. The boy looked up and whispered, "Are you the monsters from Earth?" Cade shook his head, his voice low. "No, kid, we're the monsters they made." The galaxy once mocked Earth's silence. Now it listens to fire. Flames danced through vacuum. The Rilhar outpost in the Varx expanse had been reduced to a drifting graveyard ITS hull, torn apart by kinetic lances. Its atmosphere vented, its secrets scattered like ash among the stars. Across the galaxy, species gasped. News feeds lit up. Earth has attacked. It wasn't a rumor anymore. It was war. And Earth wasn't asking permission. In a secret chamber beneath the ruins, Cade and his strike team found more than abducted children. they found catalogs, thousands of them. Data slates filled with biometric profiles of juveniles categorized by neurological adaptability, emotional yield, learning curves. Not just humans, Drelly, Mercari, Alvin, even real hard defectors. Children weren't just victims, they were inventory. Cade stood over a stack of data drives, rage trembling in his fingers. Around him, rescued children huddled beside human medics, blinking under clean lights for the first time in years. Send it out, Cade said. The AI beside him flickered. To whom? Cade's jaw tightened. Everyone. Within hours, every major communication relay in the galaxy played the same message. Earth's silence was not weakness. It was mercy. You stole our children. We've found yours too. If you are complicit, if you stood silent, no, this mercy is over. Then came the files. All of them. Millions watched as their leaders' names appeared beside Rilhar. Slaving records. Entire governments collapsed overnight. On the Rilhar capital world, the ruling caste hissed in fury. Their fleet lords demanded retaliation. One of them, Admiral Shrillik, struck his claw through a hologram of Earth and spat. They are primitive, small, predictable. This tantrum ends now. He didn't realize the tantrum had only just begun. Next Earth strike came without warning. A Rilhar arms relay in the Adrax belt exploded not from missiles, but from within. Human nanoviruses, silent as breath, had hijacked the station's own systems and turned every defense turret inward. Not one human ship was seen. Only wreckage. Only a message. Pulsed across military comms. Give them back. In Earth's lunar orbit, the Requital and her fleet were joined by a sixth ship, Gaunt Light, an exosolar prototype carrier long thought dismantled. Its arrival was a statement. Earth wasn't sending ambassadors anymore. They were sending nightmares. On board Gaunt Light, Cade met with Naira. She wore no armor, only a necklace with her daughter Mila's picture. Her eyes were hollow, but steady. You're sure Mila's not among the rescued? She asked. Cade nodded slowly. She's not there, not yet. Naira inhaled sharply. Then we don't stop. Cade nodded again. Elsewhere in the galaxy, frightened planets began contacting Earth, voluntarily begging to join, to cooperate, to share intelligence. Some offered their own fleets. One alien delegate said it best. We mocked you for being silent, but the silence was just you sharpening your teeth. But back in the Rilhar home sector, the abducted human children were moved. Not to safety, but to a black site known only to the highest echelons. Their dark machines, WHIR Red.1. Rilhar scientists stared at Mila still unconscious in stasis and activated a neural graft. She will not remain human when they find her. It hissed. Let Earth see what their peace gave birth to. Justice was never blind. It was bound. And Earth just snapped the chains. They called it the Reckoning. Broadcast. When Earth released the child trafficking records stolen from the Varix outpost, entire governments collapsed. Senators disappeared. Monarchs abdicated. Civil riots burned through core worlds. But one revelation hit harder than the rest. The Galactic Concord. The galaxy's so-called peacekeepers knew. They hadn't just ignored the Rilhar trade. They'd licensed it, quietly, legally, behind redacted clauses and diplomatic cloaks. For stability, on Concord Prime, in a grand hall of glass and silver, 12 alien High Lords watched the flames of rebellion rise from their spires. Protesters flooded the skies. Drones failed. Shields buckled. Someone among them whispered, "What if Earth doesn't stop?" Another replied, "Then maybe it's time we don't want them to." Back aboard the Gaunt Light, Cade sat alone in the war room, staring at a looping feed. Myla, still in stasis. Her eyes moved behind closed lids now. Synaptic activity spiked erratically. Neural manipulation was underway. He knew the signs. He'd seen it once on Titan decades ago, when enemies had tried to erase minds and replace them with subroutines. If the Rilhar succeeded, she would wake up something else. The human fleet had grown. Not just with Earth's own awakening relics, but volunteers. 3 Alvin cruisers arrived from the Shattered Reach. A Mercari swarmcrawler flew its own flag beside Earth's. Even Drelly war priests, once enemies of mankind, offered their blades. They called themselves the Reclaime, RS. In a hidden solar system near the Rilhar core, Earth's coalition launched the next blow not against a military outpost, but against infrastructure, a galaxy-wide neural exchange relay responsible for half the Rilhar economy was struck by a human logic. Within 11 seconds, it folded in on itself, burning out every AI node and collapsing their interstellar stock markets. Panic spread faster than fleets. Meanwhile, on the dark edge of the galaxy, Cade met with a shadow and old contact. A Concord defector. The defector handed him a chip. One location, a name, facility Coreware. They break the minds. And 3 words whispered with horror. Your girl is there. Back on Earth, billions watched as another message from the abductors was broadcast. Triller arrogance. Thinly veiled, a female voice, slithering and smug, said, "You send ships. We send warnings. You send fire. We reshape minds. Take back what's yours if you still recognize them." Cade stared at the screen. His hands curled into fists. In orbit, above him, the requital rotated slowly, its cannons locked, primed, plot course to core. He said, "But sir," his second-in-command warned, "it's deep in the Crimson Zone. No entry allowed by Concord law." Cade's eyes hardened. "Good, then they won't expect us." The final decision came from Naira. Standing in the heart of the War Council. She said only this: "We do not want revenge. We want our children, and, if we must burn the heavens to reach them, then light the match." The Rilhor built their empires on silence. But now, Earth screamed through the void. FTL fractures shimmered across the edge of crimson space like cracks in glass. Then one by one they arrived, Earth's fleet, 30 ships strong. Ancient hulls, reborn, surrounded by vessels from dozens of worlds, all united by one purpose: take back the children, or burn the galaxy, trying. At the center of the formation, the human dreadnought Gaunt, light pulsed with crimson intent. Its gravity claws twitched. Its AI whispered war poems in Latin. And deep within its command deck, Ellis Cade stared at the projected coordinates of Facility Corin unmarked, moon spinning in the shadow of a dead gas giant. Buried. Forgotten, perfect for atrocities. Deploy. Signal fog, Cade ordered. They won't see us until we're screaming in their face. Naira stood beside him, armored now, her voice quiet. "If Mila's inside," she said, "I want to be first, through the breach." "You will be," Cade replied. "We all will." Facility Core was not built for war, it was built to erase identity. Steel corridors twisted like a maze. Every room a violation, neural rewrite chambers, personality fragment tanks, soul banks. Inside one of the lower sanctums, Mila floated in a containment field. Tubes fed into her skull. Bioprocessors hummed. She twitched. Not in pain, not in fear, but as if something inside her was waking up. The Rilhor technician overseeing the process grinned. "She's almost ready. By the time her mother finds her, she won't remember she had one." The first human strike came without warning. A magnetic lance shattered Core's orbital relay. Emergency sirens blared across the moon. Defensive turrets spoon on were immediately overwhelmed by Earth's precision drop pods. Dozens crashed into the surface, splitting open like iron seeds, releasing black-armored soldiers and autonomous drones. Inside 20 minutes, the outer facility was lost. Cade led the breach into the central core. The warpath was ruthless corridors torn open, enemy bodies flung into ceilings by gravity bombs. Allies fought shoulder to shoulder, Mercari claws alongside Drelly blades, Alvin whisper mages beside Earth's AI infantry. They weren't here to conquer, they were here to reclaim. Naira moved like fury incarnate. She cut down anything in her path. When her HUD finally pinged Mila's biosignature, she sprinted without waiting for cover. Her armor bled sparks. A Rilhor beast tried to block her. She split its thorax with a plasma pulse, and then she saw her, suspended in a field of light. But something was wrong. Mila opened her eyes and didn't blink. Cade caught up seconds later. "She's alive," Naira breathed, "but she's not her." The facility's AI crackled across speakers. "She is ours now, rewritten, reforged, obedient." Cade's voice dropped to a whisper. "Then we rewrite her again." He ordered a stasis halt override. Earth's medics and neurospecialists swarmed. Mila was sedated, removed from the machines, and encased in a neural stasis pod. A single red line glowed across her cortex. "She remembers something," one tech whispered, "but it's buried under synthetic thought layers." "What will happen if we wake her now?" Naira asked. The medic hesitated. "She may not remember you. She might attack." Naira placed her hand on the pod, tears tracing her cheek. "Then I'll remind her." Above them, the Rilhar sent a desperation fleet, 50 ships inbound. No negotiation, no mercy. Cade watched their formation approach the moon. "Do we run?" asked one officer. "No," Cade said, "we hold." The battle above Core lit the black with fire. Earth's ships unleashed. Everything plasma nets, quantum thump, singularity, mines. The sky turned into a symphony of vengeance. And in the storm's eye, Earth broadcast only one message: "We found one. There are others, and we're coming for them all." They tried to rewrite her, but memory isn't just in the mind. It's in the blood. Mila opened her eyes. For a moment, silence. Then screaming. 3 medics were flung back by a psychic pulse. Instruments shattered. The neurostasis pod warped. From within, as her thoughts lashed out like a living storm, Mila levitated off the bed, her pupils burning with blue fire. Naira stepped forward. Unarmed, armor cracked, voice shaking. "Baby, it's me." The girl didn't blink. Her voice came out layered, filtered, not hers. "Unit Myra 7. Function. Comply. Terminate anomalies. Return to handler." Cade raised a weapon. No. She dropped to her knees, blood on her lips, tears on her chin. "Your name is Mila Avon Callis. You like treehouses, you hate broccoli. You named your toy wolf Captain Bitey. I held you when the sky rained. I sang to you under Earthlight." The child's hands twitched, her lips parted. No words, just a tear. The light in her eyes flickered, and then she collapsed into her mother's arms. Above them, the battle still raged. Rilhar dreadnoughts circled the moon like vultures, but Earth's coalition was no longer outnumbered. They were enraged. The requital rammed a destroyer head-on, splitting its hull in two. Elven warcruisers sang ancient hymns as they cloaked and gutted enemy corvettes. Drelly swarmwalkers unleashed living missiles that exploded into packs of blade drones. Cade broadcast a final ultimatum: surrender all facilities. Release all abductees. You have 30 seconds. After that, no stars will shield you. The Rilhar answered with silence, so Earth escalated. On course surface, Milla was stabilized, her synthetic layers suppressed by an emotional bonding stim and deep neural resonance from her mother. SDNA. It was working, but her voice was still split. She's been rewritten, said the Earth neurolinguist. Their programming is nested deep, emotionally reactive. If they push it again, she'll fight it, Naira said. She's 7. She's ours. Then came the enemy's last play. From deep space, the Rilhar unleashed a kill code Myra protocol designed to reactivate any turned child into a weapon. And Milla felt it. She dropped to her knees, screaming, eyes flashing. Earth's engineers couldn't block it, but Milla did something unexpected, something they didn't program her to do. She looked at her mother, and she fought back. In Milla's mind, two voices battled, one synthetic, one pure. One full of code, the other memory, warmth, song. Unit Myra, obey. I remember Earthlight. I remember her hand. The control shattered. Across the galaxy, thousands of other abducted children, all forced into silence, felt it a signal, a resistance, a break in the command chain. And they woke up. In the Riller capital, chaos bloomed. Families demanded answers. Slaves rebelled. Systems crashed. Entire sectors refused orders. And through it all, Earth's message rang out: we have recovered what you stole, and we are not done. Cade stood aboard the gaunt light, watching it all unfold. You think they'll surrender? Asked a junior officer. Cade stared at the starfield. No, but now, they bleed. In the final moments of battle, Earth's AI launched Project Eulogy, a viral empathy algorithm that infected Rilhar leadership networks. It forced every mind it touched to feel what the stolen children felt: isolation, fear, betrayal. The Rilhar queen collapsed on her throne, weeping blood. They thought they could break us by taking our young. Instead, they gave us a reason to never stop fighting. The stars had changed. Where once there was silence, now there was fury. Where once Earth had been ignored, now its name carried weight heavier than gravity. From the wreckage of Kor's skies, the last Rilhar dreadnought burned. Trails of plasma scarred the void, and the shattered remnants of a once proud empire drifted like bones in a black sea. But Earth wasn't watching the fireworks. We were counting our children. Milla sat on the ramp of a medical dropship, knees tucked to her chest, wrapped in her mother's jacket. Her eyes were clear now, no flickering code, no foreign voice. Just a quiet sadness, too old for 7 years. Other children, rescued, trembling, and pale, stood near her. Some cried, some stared, and one by one, the soldiers of Earth knelt. They didn't salute, they didn't cheer. They knelt. The gesture meant, we failed you, but never again. Above them, on the bridge of the gaunt light, Cade looked at the final message broadcast by the Rilhar Empress before her capture. You are violent, primal. You will tear this galaxy apart. Cade had replied with 3 words, only when provoked. Across the stars, the repercussions rippled like shockwaves. The Treaty of Kor: every abducted child must be returned. All genetic and neural modifications outlawed. Rilhar leadership 2 face judgment under Galactic Tribunal, and most importantly, any force that targets the innocent targets Earth. In the following months, Earth deployed peace fleets not to conquer, but to protect. Hundreds of colonies requested integration. Thousands of species lit beacons inviting humanity to their councils. But Earth didn't forget. They built shrines on every recovered world, not monuments to war but playgrounds, libraries, and homes. Spaces built for children. The message was clear. This is what you tried to break. This is what survived. In Mila's dreams, the screams had quieted. She no longer floated in darkness. Now, she stood in a treehouse, arms around a stuffed wolf, watching birds that only existed in memory. Her mother joined her. No armor, just warmth. Milla whispered, do monsters come back? Naira said nothing for a moment. Sometimes, but now, they know what happens if they do. 1 year later, at the Galactic Concord's inauguration, a human child was asked to speak. Milla walked to the podium, voice trembling but strong. You thought we were weak, because we laugh, because we sing. But when you came for us, you taught Earth the one thing we hadn't learned yet, what we're willing to burn the stars for. And the chamber filled with hundreds of species rose to their feet in silence. No applause, just respect.